Right, so here's Big and Little then. This is my next thing. Anyone who knows me knows I subscribe to Big and Little Crochet. And you get 2 books a month for, well, it's 12 quid, 11.90 something, 99 or 98. And so it's a £5 a book and a couple of quid for postage. The patterns aren't always spot on. Sometimes you have to do a bit of guesswork and deciphering, but they are lovely. They do tend to have very lovely patterns in here, and everything's very simple. I think one of the reasons the patterns aren't as good as they could be is they tried to condense them into a small space. And then every book has a theme. So this one is Festival Fever, and some people sort of moan and say it's a bit late because you haven't got time to make things for festivals, but you've got time to make them for next year, haven't you? Blooming heck. You need lots of practice, you need lots of warning before you crochet anything. It can take a long time. So that's just little bracelets which you can use also. It's saying you can also use them as wrapping, for wrapping little gifts up like a ribbon. Spiral necklace, I've already said I don't really like jewellery. The bracelet's not so bad. That's a really retro bag, that, isn't it? I like that with all the beads on and the fringe. That's how to do, shows you how to do different stitches. A mesh hoodie, that's quite nice. Water bottle holders, that's quite nice as well. Because you could just put them around your neck, then you haven't got to have it in your hand all the time. I like those, I might make one of those. Be pretty quick to make. And also they'd be nice to just sort of have in the house, covering bottles, standing on a shelf or something. Square top beanie, so it's like a sackcloth sort of. Oh, festival flower garland. Well, I wouldn't wrap that around my head these days, but I would definitely have that on a shelf somewhere, or with some fairy lights between it. That's a lovely vest. That's a really lovely vest top. Whenever you buy crocheted clothing cheap from shops, well, I'd say don't, because crochet takes so long to do. There's no way you can do it by a machine. It really takes a long time and a lot of skill and effort to make a garment out of crochet. And how these high street fashion places can sell like a crocheted jumper or a crocheted dress for £5 or something, somebody isn't getting paid a lot. Somebody's definitely not getting paid what they should be being paid. I would never ever buy anything crocheted unless it was expensive, because it has to be. It's just, no. Crochet is not like making a t-shirt where you just put it in a machine. Zoom, zoom, zoom. That's not how crochet works. Crochet is sitting there for hours and hours and hours. It's intensive work, and there's no way somebody has, even for a vest top like that, you might think, oh well, it's just a vest top, or it's a little girl's dress or something. A vest top like that will take hours. And if you're paying a £5 for it, or a tenner to the high street retailer, they're making a massive, they're buying it for sort of £2, £3 max. And if they're buying it for £2, who are they buying it off? And the person who's made it is probably getting paid pence for hours of work. Not good. I would never buy crocheted clothing unless, like I say, the price reflected the work that had gone into it. It is one of those things that you can actually tell how, you know for a fact it took a long time, and a lot of hours have gone into it. When it's a t-shirt or a dress or something, it could have been whipped up pretty quickly, so it can be a bit dubious, but not with crochet. No. Right, so every week you get a different motif. I was quite passionate there, wasn't I? I am quite passionate about that, because even on things like Etsy, you see people selling blankets like that for £10, and you're thinking, what on earth are they on? it's disrespectful, I think, because there's no way that cost £10 to make in terms of the materials, perhaps, but not in terms of the time and effort that went into it and the skill. And they're underselling themselves. Oh, the dog's whinging. Not only are they underselling themselves, but they're underselling every other crocheter who maybe wants to actually make some money out of their art and their skill. So yeah, I don't know how they do it. So every book there's a motif, and you make the motif, and the idea is at the end of it you put them all together and you end up with this gorgeous throat. And they provide you with the materials. So you've got some of the materials here, and you've already had some of the materials. Leftover petrol and white. I don't know if I've got enough leftover petrol to finish that. Anyway, so that's that one. That one looks pretty straightforward. Popcorn River Hexagon. The popcorn hexagon, the last one, was one of my favourites. It was absolutely gorgeous. So then book 13 is all about garden gifts, things for the garden. Oh, that's cute. I love those colours. Very cute. This is a corner to corner, I think, and then they just fold it over and sew it together. Corner to corner is a really quick way of building up a blanket. Oh, tea light covers. I've shown you how to do those before, but they're cute, so I might do those. They are really lovely. And you know when these are really great? When my sister was in hospital having chemo, she loves her candles, and she loves candlelight. She loves the fragrance of scented candles. It's relaxing for her anyway. That's what she has at home. When she was in hospital having chemo, she had to have intensive chemo. So you see people who go and have chemo, they drop in, have chemo, go home. She wasn't one of those. She was one of those who had to actually stay in hospital and have her chemo administered over a number of days. And it was like an onslaught. It was, oh gosh, it was horrific. And it was, you know, there was just these regimes that went on for days where she'd be prepped, or, you know, some part of the regime she'd be prepped for a few days, and she'd have to get certain levels of things to certain heights, and then she'd have her chemo, and then she'd have to recover from that chemo before she could have a couple of days off and go home, and then to sort of have a bit of a break, and then go back again and be readmitted and have another week or so. And that went on for sort of 4 or 5 months. 4 or 5 months, I think. It sort of started. In fact, her first chemo was on her birthday in November. She was diagnosed with cancer in the October. She started her treatment in the November, and she got the sort of all clear. She was in remission in the April, I think. So yeah, so it was quite a long time, for 5 months or so, maybe 6 months. And she had these cycles of intensive chemotherapy. Anyway, when she was in hospital, I went to stay. I used to stay with her at the hospital. Not all the time, but a lot of the time I did. And she always had her own room. There's only one time when she shared a room with another lady, a lovely lady called Alison. But anyway, one thing that happened was she was in hospital. She couldn't have her candles, and that was her relaxation thing. So what I did was I made a beautiful cover, crocheted cover for a jar, a big jar. It was an old gherkin jar, actually. I remember it clearly. And I popped in. I got some battery operated lights. And what I did was, before I put the cover onto the jar, I just rubbed the outside of the jar with a fragrance oil that I would use to make candles, scented candles. So she actually got the fragrance from and that sort of seeped. I just rubbed it lightly, but that sort of seeped into the crochet, into the knit. And so she got the fragrance of a fragrance candle, and she got the lovely flicker in. So at night, it was winter while she was having her treatment, so it was getting dark early. So when we'd settle down to watch TV, or, you know, she'd just settle down to just rest and sleep, whatever, just whatever was going on, we'd have this little candle flickering away in the corner, and it was just so relaxing and so homely, and it made a huge difference to her. So they're a great idea for that. Definitely a great idea for something like that. And, you know, just somebody who loves candles, they're in the hospital, they can't have their candles, you can get around it. Oh, look at that. That was a bit of a long story, wasn't it? Look at that. It's horrible. I love tea cozies, but that's not my idea for tea cozy. Oh, that's cute. I love the colours on that. I just love that anyway. A table runner. It's really cute for a... I love that for a normal table, let alone for the outside. It's gorgeous. If I had that on my table, my daughter would have it wrapped around her neck within a couple of days. She'd be taking it home. That is so cute. Peg bag. For those who still use pegs, I'm one of those people who does use pegs. You can't be shoving things in the tumble dryer when there's sunshine and wind to do the job for free. That's cute. Just some cute bunting to put out in the garden or to put in the house. That's lovely. Oh, that's lovely. Granny square seat cushion. Gosh, that would be so easy to make. Oh, look at that. I might make myself... I can't say I'm going to make myself a blanket because my daughter's been waiting for me to finish her blanket forever. Right, what's this one then? This one looks a bit weird. Feather Diamonds hexagon. Well, that's going to be interesting to make that one. So we'll see about that later. So that's my little review of Big and Little Crochet. And then next Monday's project then will probably be me making the hexagons from these two. But I have already got two crochet projects ready. So I don't know. I'll see what happens. I'll see which ones I choose to upload.